Philosophy is simply what you know. Now, you've probably heard the one that says, what you don't know will hurt you. And here's another one: ignorance is not bliss. It's very important to have the correct philosophy. It's so important to know your philosophy, essentially what you know and believe, sets the course of your life. In other words, take the time to learn and understand as much as you can. I'm telling the kids these days, make sure you get the information while you're here. I've been speaking to the students at Newport Harbor High School in some lectures both last year and this year, and my message is, make sure you get all the information while you're here. I understand it might feel like a lot of work, reading those books, attending classes, and striving for good grades. However, it's crucial. While you're here, gather it all up. Missing out on a book or not getting certain information can have a lasting impact. It affects the legacy of your assets, not just in the next few months, but in the years to come. Your philosophy, your approach to learning and understanding is where it all began. I've broken down philosophy into 3 parts. First, there's the foundational philosophy that begins right from infancy. Babies start processing information immediately. Cold is unpleasant, warm is pleasant, hunger is terrible, and food is fantastic. They begin reacting and responding to the information around them, forming the basis of our philosophy. Then there's the expanded philosophy, which involves acquiring enough understanding to be gainfully employed, contribute value to society, and find your role in the professional world. It's about being a reasonable, decent human being, a philosophy that goes beyond the basics. Now, how can you achieve wealth power, sophistication, influence, and uniqueness? It all boils down to a simple concept: refined philosophy. The process of refining your philosophy involves additional studies, extra books, more classes, deeper thinking, prolonged pondering, and engaging in the give and take of testing ideas through debate and discussion. The true richness of life comes from these expanded dimensions of refined philosophy. This extra thinking, these intellectual endeavors, are often steps of discovery that some may hesitate to take due to various reasons. They might not want to be too busy or find it challenging. However, I assure you, once you delve into these additional skills, you won't want to turn back. This new realm of intellectual discovery is where wealth, happiness, the good life, influence, power, and the refinement of philosophy truly reside. One of the key lessons I learned from Schoff when I met him was, poor thinking habits keep most people poor. It's not about lacking in working hard. Many people put in the effort, but they neglect to think deeply. He explained that the mind operates like a mental factory, and whatever occupies your thoughts throughout the day becomes the raw material that shapes the economic, social, and financial fabric of your life. He shared a biblical saying with me: as you think, so you become. How awesome. When he talked about poor thinking habits, he had me. I used to start the day reading the morning newspaper. I mean, you can believe that or not. I'd grab a cup of coffee and delve into stories about wars, riots, murders, stabbings, killings, bank robberies, muggings, car wrecks, and tragedy. I'd even explore the back pages. There was something about that news that intrigued me. And then I'd start my day. You can imagine the kind of days I used to have. The guy says, I want to be a great leader. That's fantastic. Our first move is to accompany him to his house. Upon arrival, we walk in and inspect his library. That's the top priority. Somebody says, well, why check his library? The reason is because what a man reads pours massive ingredients into his mental factory, shaping the fabric of their life. You wouldn't believe the types of reading materials some people have in their homes. It's quite surprising. A suitable term for much of it might be described as trash. Just imagine dumping a barrel of trash into your mental factory every day and expecting to emerge with a rich, dynamic, and positive life. It can't be done. You might as well try making a cake with cement. The students in Danbury, Connecticut at the high school were asking me questions one day as I spoke to them. Kids these days have some insightful questions. One of them asked me, Mr. Rohn, how do you create a good life? It's not easy, but it's simple. Here's how you build anything. Choose the right ingredients. Keep out the wrong ingredients, and everything starts with thought. So you must be wise and careful what you think about. I asked the kids what would happen if someone added sugar to my coffee. They said, well, you'd be fine. What if someone added strychnine to my coffee? They responded, well, you'd be dead. I said, exactly. Lesson 1. Life is a mix of both sugar and strychnine. You have to be cautious. Then I asked, what if my worst enemy added the sugar? They said, well, you'd still be okay. What if my best friend even accidentally added the strychnine? They replied, well, you'd be dead, correct? You have to be careful. It doesn't matter who hands you the harmful stuff or where you get it. It will still have its impact on your well-being, just like in your bank account. Mr. Schoaf shared one of the greatest phrases with me when we first met. He said, Jim, every day, stand guard at the door of your mind. How important to stand guard at the door of your mind. Now, our philosophy comes from a lot of places. Let me give it to you. Firstly, it comes from teaching, the impact of others, the books we read, and the classes we take with significant emphasis on the word influence. Influence plays a substantial role in shaping our philosophy. In another series, we asked 3 major questions. It's question number 1, who am I around? Question number 2, what are they doing to me? This is called major. Where have they got me going? What have they got me reading? What have they got me saying? This is major, and it encompasses where they're leading me, what they are exposing me to in terms of reading, what kind of thoughts they are fostering in me, and what words they have me expressing. The most significant question is, what kind of person are they shaping me into becoming? Influence plays a pivotal role in shaping our philosophy, affecting our thoughts, speech, the formation of ideas, and our values. All of this holds great importance, including what we are aware of, how our minds process ideas and information, as ideas essentially represent information taking shape. Now, we do something very important with what we know. We weigh it, we put it on our mental scales, and we weigh it. But we might not consciously assign a numerical value from 1 to 10 when we encounter information. If we perceive it as a 10, we're likely to take immediate action. Conversely, if we consider it a 1, we might overlook it. When something holds significance, we are more inclined to take proactive steps. If we deem something as unimportant, we might likely disregard it. But it's so important to evaluate. We learn in leadership skill training, perception, trying to find value in something. Where is the value? How valuable is it? How important is it? Is there something below the surface? Is there something here that I can't see at first glance? Is there something in the inner workings of it? What goes behind it? What is its origin? All these inquiries contribute to our perception of value, aiding in the evaluation of ideas and information. Now, here's a crucial point, having a well-calibrated set of mental scales. Consider this scenario. What if, while processing information, your mental scales were slightly off, causing you to weigh things a bit inaccurately? You can see how that might impact your life, certainly. Being just a bit off for a decade can lead to significant differences. Here's a key phrase to remember. Life accumulates. We either accumulate debt or value, regret or equity. We all face one of 2 pains. The pain of discipline or the pain of regret. I propose choosing discipline, mental discipline specifically, to refine our ideas. Admittedly, it requires effort and perseverance, but it's called a small price to pay so that you won't have the regret later on. Regret weighs tons, discipline weighs ounces. If you embrace the initial efforts of disciplined thought to refine ideas and don't dismiss significant questions regarding society. What about government? What about taxes? What about life? What about capital and business? You avoid missing out on the valuable treasures that could accumulate in your life over the next week, next months, and years. So this is called major. What we contemplate and the ideas we engage with chart the course of our lives. It's like the set of the sail. It's taking us somewhere. There's an important question for you to think about. Where are my thoughts leading me? This is a big question. It's crucial to be careful about where your thoughts are going. While you can be laid back about some things, there are certain things you shouldn't take lightly. My way of thinking is guiding me somewhere. The key question is where. The result will either be the gathering of good things or not. Life adds up, and I'm either accumulating debt that I'll be sorry for, or I'm accumulating value that I'll be happy about. Key phrase. Up front, the decisions are easy. But sometimes as we grow older, fixing our mistakes and getting back on the right path may seem hard. But here's the exciting part, especially for teenagers. Make the note, if you start early, the fortune belongs to you. If you start early, all fortunes that are available to humans, starting early gives you a big advantage of achieving great things are in your favor. Now, yes, it's possible to do some radical things, starting late, and still arrive with some good treasures and some good things. But when you haven't got that much time left, now sometimes the decision has to be very big. People might not want to make such a drastic decision because they feel too tired, weary, or ill, and they might think it's too late for me anyway. It's easy to have that attitude, but everyone here, we have time. In the next 10 years, we have time. In the next 20 years, we have time. In the next 30 years, we can fix our past mistakes and start new habits. And I'm telling you, that's going to make a big difference. So in 5 years, my wish for you is to reach a good place, a place where you can get a lot done, feel proud of yourself, earn respect, and have the ability to influence others in ways you can't do today. Where do you think you'll be in 5 years? Key phrase, we go the direction we face. If you start designing something at the end of this direction, sure enough, you will start going the direction you face. Next phrase, direction determines destination. Destination is not determined by wish. It's not determined by hope. Destination is determined by direction. You cannot change destination overnight, which means you can't get to a place 5 years from now right away. But here's what you can change today and sure overnight. You can change direction, and it is so fascinating what a little small direction will do. By making a few decisions to be more disciplined, learn new things, change some behaviors and habits, and set goals you might have neglected. Like I did at age 25 when I didn't have a list, I started to make those changes. In less than 7 years, I became a millionaire. And that was just in my finances. I'm really grateful for the circumstances and whatever else made things happen for me. Some things just happen and we might not even know how they happen. Think about it. For you to be here today, there was a whole series of events. Doors had to close and others had to open. All these things had to fall into place for me to be here and for you to be here. We didn't just appear out of nowhere, right? You all came from different places, and here we are. It's a bit mysterious, and that's okay. We don't have to figure it all out. We can just say, wow, it's amazing. But now that we're here, how can we impact each other's lives, both individually and together? It's by doing exactly what we've been doing. Studying, learning, teaching, shaking hands, sharing stories, and doing all those things that help not only ourselves, but also others on this small journey toward a new direction. So remember this, it's just a small journey to a new direction. So jot that down. It's only a small journey to a new direction. Think about how fast your health can get better if you start eating an apple every day. Like Mama used to say, an apple a day keeps the doctor away. Imagine you've been sick for a while, facing health issues, and you decide enough is enough, it's done. I'm starting a new plan now. You don't have to completely change everything about your health. Just begin with eating an apple every day you suggest. Is it really that easy to improve your health? Yes, it is. The important thing is just to get started. You know, you start reading a book about staying healthy, and when you're halfway through, it tells you now. Dear reader, put the book down, get on the floor, and try doing some push-ups. And it adds, and if you haven't done that, maybe consider giving this book to someone else. It seems like you're not going to do it. Come on, you don't have to make big changes all at once. You can build up and make improvements gradually. Just start. Here's what happens when you change things. Your self-esteem goes up. You don't need a lot to start feeling good about yourself. Just head in a new direction and you'll feel good. Eating an apple every day, deciding to follow a health plan can make you the healthiest you've ever been in the next 20 years. Just take a bite of that first apple and you don't need anyone around to announce it to the world. But when you take a bite of that first apple, think, this is the start of creating a health plan that will make me so healthy that I'll have the energy to do whatever I want for the next 30 years of my life. Now, if you eat an apple the second day, you might feel really excited thinking, wow, I'm making progress. Someone might say just 2 apples. I did it yesterday and I'm doing it again today. It's proving to myself, no audience, no microphones, just me and myself. You've told yourself I'm on the path to being the healthiest I've ever been. I'm beginning a new life. Today is the second day of my journey. Changing your life can be as simple as that. You don't need a big fancy plan or some special vision. Whether it's about your health or other things you want to do, just get back on a better track. Choose carefully what goes into your mind. Don't let anybody just dump anything they want to in your mental factory, because you've got to live with the results.